Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This
is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Thursday, 21st of November, 2024. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you have like 7 choices. Just click, click, click.
Clickety click. Oh,
I
thank
know.
you, everybody, for joining us.
I hope everyone's having a great Thursday. Got F. Clint in the house.
What's up, F. Clan?
Got a little Lunker in the house.
Little Lonker, how you
Got
doing?
Esto in the house.
Hey, Esto.
Miss Carol's in the
Carol.
house. Esto said probably going to be lurking because my kitchen is a mess in the middle of reorganizing and deep cleaning, but I stopped to bake a loaf of pumpkin banana bread. I want some.
That sounds amazing.
Carol says we're going to be lurking too, heading to work right now.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
goodness.
Work sucks.
Yes, work sucks.
Actually, no, work is great. You're going to have a great time today.
You're going to have a great time. Just drive safe.
Yeah, be safe.
Got Aaron in the
Aaron,
house.
what's going on, man?
Chachi, that's
Hey,
right.
Chachi.
Happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve. Yes, we are almost at Friday.
Got Mike. It's snowing. You can keep
Hey, Mike.
that, Mike.
You can have that snow.
We don't want it. We don't want it. But see, he doesn't like snow either.
It's
so.
snow, yeah. I mean, it can be nice. It depends on the snow.
Yeah, that's true.
We were kind of talking about that. The plastic
Mhm.
snow.
Yeah.
Hey, Colleen.
Got Colleen in the house. Got Miss
Hey,
Steph
Steph.
in the house. Let's see. Esther said we had a few inches of real snow, but the weather is warming up and it's all slushy. See, that's when it sucks.
Yeah, the slush sucks.
The slush.
Like it's always pretty right when it
Miss
falls.
Wendy!
Hey, Wendy. But we were talking about the snow that like
the
melted
plastic
with the
snow.
plastic snow, because we did that and it melted all weird and shit. It wasn't like water. It was really strange.
Oh, I want
Just
some.
finished making a roast, sweet potatoes, onions, and carrots. Turned out so good.
That sounds amazing.
Mac was burning a snowball today. That won't melt.
Oh, wow.
God. Yeah, check the snow before you let your kids play in it. I mean, we've seen that. We see that they're gonna be making everything. They're turning everything up to 11 right now because, well, they're on the way out and they're gonna be petulant children about everything. So expect the plastic snow. Expect all the garbage in the water. Expect absolutely everything. but it will also make the healing that everybody gets on the back end of this, once everything gets cleaned out, I have a feeling will, make us all a lot more happy about what they were doing, or happy about the fact that they're cleaning everything up. I don't know. That's what I got.
It still says bomb cyclones.
Bomb cyclones.
Interesting. Oh, there's Mike, the second part of Mike Squared.
Hey, Mike. What's going on, man?
Evening,
Thanks,
sir.
Good evening.
Are you ready?
Yes.
We got a lot to go over today. It's been a crazy day, guys. Can you read that, please?
Sure. Musk and Ramaswamy are starting the DOGEcast podcast to discuss what they're doing to government.
Ready?
Making it their bitch.
I know.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
As part of that process, I'm now all in. I'm focused on making sure that we actually accomplish the goal rather than just talking about it. So to that end, for the next little bit, I'm going to put a pause on the weekly truth podcasts. I've enjoyed doing it this year. It's been incredibly fun and entertaining. I've learned from a lot of the guests, and I've enjoyed communicating with all of you. We're going to put that on pause for a little bit. And as you may have heard, Elon and I are going to start a separate track of DOGEcasts that explain exactly what we're doing to the public to provide transparency in what is a once-in-a-generation project. We want to bring the public along with us, to lift the curtain, to take us behind the scenes of what actually that waste, fraud, and abuse in government looks like. However bad you think it is, it's probably worse. But we don't want to do this to just expose the problem. We want to do it to solve the problem. So stay tuned. We're going to have more information about when those DOGEcasts are going to begin. We are neck deep right now in transitioning to the new dawn on January 20th. But in the meantime, I thank all of you for your journey this year, for joining us. I've loved doing the truth, and we're just going to put it on pause for a little bit to hopefully embark on this new chapter of saving our republic. Stay tuned for further details, and we'll be in touch.
Thoughts, sir?
Okay, so I'm starting to get pretty comfortable with this whole Vivek doing the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, because he was, from what we understand, one of those WEF folks, correct? And WEF was the people, or no, it was BlackRock and Vanguard, but he had ties to BlackRock, didn't he?
Not him.
Not him.
No.
Oh, okay. But I know he knows who all those people are. And I think that once the WEF was taken over, that Vivek actually wanted out of the problems there. He probably helped out, and that's why he's got a key role to play in this. That's pretty interesting. But I'm excited about it. They're going to have a podcast about it?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't watch podcasts. I might watch that one.
Oh, it's because ours takes so much to set up.
Some time.
And do.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
177 veterans. This man tells you why Matt Gaetz should be Attorney General.
Ready?
Yeah.
I know. He pulled his name out, but
Yeah.
we're still going to talk about it.
All right, I'm ready. Okay, so it says 82 Army, 14 Air Force, 21 Navy, and 60 Marines.
That's 177 veterans that were arrested for January 6th for exercising their First Amendment right, for protesting a clearly manipulated election, some of which weren't even allowed to use their First Amendment right in their court cases as a defense. See this pink one here? That's Ashley Babbitt. She was murdered, along with other J6 protesters. They told you Capitol Police died. No Capitol Police died that day. You know that they hold a nightly vigil outside the DC prison for J6ers that were killed and the ones that are incarcerated? You know that Matt Gaetz is one of the only representatives that has shown up to show his respects and listen to the people? Let this be a reminder of how far they're willing to go to prevent Trump from taking power. I like the Matt Gaetz pick, but I don't think they like it a lot. So be prepared. Hey y'all, I'm Joe, documenter of January 6th. The truth of this day cannot fade into American history. It needs to be cemented where everyone can learn from it. My goal is to help contribute to that. If you like my content, please consider giving me a follow, a like, a share, and if you use my content, please consider tagging me. It'd really help me out. There's a lot of people's lives that have been ruined because of this day and what the government has done to us. So we need to turn this narrative around and get the truth out there. Thank you.
Likes America.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Joel likes America.
Joe
Joe likes
likes
America.
America.
Awesome. All right.
Thoughts?
There we go. That's what I was waiting on. All right. So we know that Matt Gaetz has stepped down now, and I think we got a couple of videos in the pipeline here. If we were playing checkers, we'd be really sad. But the good thing is we're playing 5D chess, and I can see a lot of huge things coming down the pipeline. In terms of how this might have just been a pump fake that President Trump did, because I think that there's much bigger game at foot. And I think that they probably got some people to expose themselves as those who do the leaking and stuff like that. So I think that there's a lot going on with this, but I want to get through the videos first, so that way we can kind of get to the analysis of what we think is going on over there. Chachi says it's all about playing with the deep states emotions from here on out. The tables are turned. Exactly, Chachi. I know that this is that they're fumbling around. You know, they've been put up against the ropes and they're trying to use the ropes to stay upright, but it's just everything they're doing is not working. And Trump's not going to let up. He is going to continue playing the games with them because, well, he doesn't want to give him a chance, and he's not going to. He's going to win, and he's going to give us our nation back.
Yes. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got a couple more. Can you read that, please?
Yes. Representative Harriet Hageman explains why Matt Gaetz is under attack.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with Matt Gaetz for the last 2 years on the Judiciary Committee and the Weaponization Committee. He's an incredible, brilliant legal mind, and he is someone who I think would go in and stir up the DOJ, which is what we need. We have uncovered a substantial amount of information of how the Department of Justice and the FBI have been weaponized against the American public. And Matt Gaetz has been instrumental in exposing that and trying to hold people accountable for the decisions that have been made. And I think that's really why they're attacking him and trying to derail this nomination, because they recognize that he's someone who's going to go into the Department of Justice and actually do what needs to be done, which is clean out a lot of the dead wood, if you will, and also root out the corruption that we know has been going on. What we saw with the Hunter Biden laptop, what we saw in terms of how they treated Hunter Biden, the amount of money that they gifted to him by refusing to prosecute him for the tax evasion that he engaged in with the money that he was receiving from foreign countries. Matt Gaetz is somebody who's going to expose this, and I think that that's why they're attacking him.
Thoughts?
Fun fact. Wyoming has the highest number of billionaires per capita out of any state.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, despite that, so obviously he's a threat, and we know that he knows the law very, very well. He's a brilliant mind, but I think that he's going to be served better wherever he is going to go after this, because he already resigned his seat, so that means he's going somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
We have breaking news this hour. Matt Gaetz is stepping down from his nomination to Attorney General of the United States. Many said this was the most contentious of the nominations made by former President Trump. And he has announced categorically that he will not be seeking confirmation to the post of Attorney General. Here are his words. I had an excellent meeting with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There's no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to seeing that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. Look, Griff, this was quick. I mean, the appointment came as a surprise to many. And we will see what happens. We know the deputy is Todd Blanche. That was Trump's attorney in his case with Alvin Bragg here in New York. Many suspected that if Gates did not make it through, that perhaps Blanche would be elevated.
Well, we'll see where it goes. And I think really the question over what Matt Gaetz does next is really fascinating because he resigned from the current Congress. He was elected to the next one, but his resignation officially set in motion Governor DeSantis standing up a special election quickly. Gaetz's district in the Panhandle is very Republican. It was always going to be a Republican that replaces him. The question now is, will Gaetz run in his own special election to try and get reelected back to Congress? And the question about, there was clearly, Kaylee, pressure building, sources at Capitol Hill telling me and every other reporter in Washington that this ethics report was likely coming out.
Thoughts?
So the whole ethics thing, they let us know that he is the most contentious candidate that was picked by President Trump. So in other words, it sounds like the rest of them are going to be almost rubber stamped. They're going to be put through, and we're not going to hear all of the drama that the left absolutely loves. And they pointed out specifically that he already resigned from Congress. So that means he needs to do something. And I highly doubt that he's going to sit around with his thumb up his keister. Problem is what's next? Paxton? Yeah. So our next question is who could possibly take that seat that would be a little bit less contentious?
Yep. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go.
All right. So now that Matt Gaetz has withdrawn his name from consideration to be the attorney general, the number one question everybody's been asking me is, who's Trump going to nominate now? And my answer is probably this guy. This is Ken Paxton, and he is the current attorney general for the state of Texas. And if I had to pick somebody, this guy would be the pick. One, he's already an attorney general, so kind of hard to question his qualifications. Two, he's coming from a state with a Republican governor, so there's pretty much no danger of him leaving his position and being replaced by a Democrat. But the main reason why I think he would be an excellent pick, and why I think he's going to be the pick, is that the Democrats recently tried to impeach him. I'm not going to give you the long story of it, but basically, he went up against the FBI, and in retaliation, they tried to impeach him. But he won. He defeated the FBI and defeated their bullshit impeachment. And the best part is that whole case was completely out in the open. So there's no dirt for them to use to try to talk shit on him. And really, the only issue that we'd run into with this guy as attorney general is that he really doesn't like weed. Like, on a personal level, this dude is not a fan. And on a legislative level, he's not for it. So pretty much the pro-weed crowd is the only people that are going to be pissed off with him as AG. I mean, don't get me wrong, the liberals are going to flip the fuck out and complain and make up all kinds of shit. But seriously, I'm willing to bet that Ken's going to be the pick. And honestly, nobody should be upset about that pick.
Thoughts?
All right. So I want to touch the weed thing first. He also lives in a state where each county is able to determine whether or not it is a dry county. That is a state where they let individual counties determine so many things. And so as the Attorney General of Texas, he's going to recognize that the states have that power to determine whether or not they want something. So he's a good conservative, solid pick. Also, he's from Texas. What's his specialty going to be? Well, he sure has been jacking with the federal government ever since Biden came into office with the whole immigration and everything. So he's going to know how to deal with all of these mayors, like in Denver, let's say, where they say that they're not going to cooperate. Well, I have a feeling he's the kind of attorney general that's going to encourage people in various ways in which to cooperate with the federal government, because after all, he understands, Ken Paxton that is, that they're illegal aliens and that they're destroying our nation. And with the amount of illegal aliens we have here, it is a full-blown invasion. He understands that more than so many other states, especially those that just figured out that they realized that they didn't really want to be sanctuary cities. So he's going to help them as they head on their journey of coming to the light. So let's see. Esto says he sued the feds over and over. Yes, ma'am. 100%. And that means that he knows how the game is played. I actually think that he's going to be much better off as the attorney general. I think that we as a nation will be much better off because he's been cracking down on the corruption in Texas. There's been some kind of weird things going on out there where they've been getting and finding these corrupt pockets within the Texas government. Also, he's been very active in so many other things that is going to agree with most everybody. Wendy says Jack Daniels is made in a dry county. That always made me laugh. There might be some wisdom in that entire thing. Just saying. Carol says we were a dry county until just last year. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's way too strict. I can understand, but I also understand that there's, still going to be pockets of that. And those will probably be the counties that are going to be last in terms of allowing the Mary Jane. Yeah. Steph says, Carol, to Carol, the county I live in was, I guess, dry county until the last election, not this one. That's crazy. So in terms of what's going to happen with Matt Gaetz, and I've been chomping at the bit to get to this one, and I think what's going to happen is Paxton's going to end up being AG, but I really want to take a look at this man right here, Marco Rubio. There is a Senate seat that is opening up, and I believe that that it will be an appointment to that seat. And so, what does he do? Well, it appears that
Read this.
the vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Let's see. What? F. Clint says, y'all saw that President Trump selects Pam Bondi as the next attorney general? What? No, I did not see that. Haven't heard that.
Pull that up, please.
What's that? I'm just gonna.
Pam Bondi.
Yeah, let me look that one up. Huh. Former Florida attorney general.
Yeah, Wendy, we're not Rubio fans either.
No, we're not, but I think that there's some highlights to that. But I believe that by him going over to take over Rubio's seat, there's going to be a much greater ally for President Trump because he was the vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. And if he's going to be assuming that role in the Senate Intelligence Committee, it's going to be helping out President. He truthed it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Ken Paxton, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that shows that our thoughts were off.
But that's okay.
Well, the thing is there's all sorts of pieces getting moved around.
Yeah, there are. And that's okay. And if she's a good person, that's all I care about. And if she's going to go in there and freaking do what they need to do, I'm good.
Was in 2020, Bondi was one of longtime ally President Trump's defense lawyers during his first impeachment trial. Well, there you go.
Okay, she was part of his first impeachment trial.
She was defense.
Staff.
She was defense for him.
She was defense for him.
So I have a feeling
I have a feeling she's a good person, Steph.
Now, boy, what does that tell you she knows about? She has a very intimate understanding as to how the impeachment process works.
And lawfare.
And lawfare.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So,
you ready?
Some of these things happen. Again, I think that Gaetz was a pump fake. I think that he's going to put him into Rubio's seat, which will help him in the Intelligence Committee. And when they break up all of the 3-letter agencies into a million pieces, I think that he's going to be helping to preside over that. Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Yeah. He is bringing a lot of ladies.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
He sure is.
You ready?
He did last time, too.
I know.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, I got Kelly.
Okay.
See, Mike, I never thought Kash Patel because I think Kash is going to FBI and I think he's going to clean it up. Yeah. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I believe Kash is going to the FBI because I think that one's going to get broken up. And considering how corrupt the FBI is, we've seen and we've shown all sorts of evidence about how they're not acting the way that Federal Bureau of Investigation should be acting. And so I believe that you couldn't put anybody better in that spot than somebody whose job was to direct the counterintelligence, because there is clearly a need to find out and root out all of the moles and traitors to this nation that are within the Department of Justice. I think that that's going to be where Cash is going to shine.
And I think that's exactly why
Axed
Cash will
altogether?
go to the FBI. I don't think it'll be axed
Not
completely. I
completely.
think they're going to break it up.
I think they're going to break it up. They're going to have they're going to break it up into like the data section, and they are a completely different entity. I think that they will still have investigations, but investigations will be its own entity. I think it's going to be very, very different, and probably won't have the door kicking authority that they used to have. I think a lot of agencies are going to lose their door kicking
Hope
authority.
agrees with us that he's going to be the
FBI
FBI
director.
director.
Yeah, that's what we're going with.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got Kelly.
All right.
Why is it so hard as Christians to know what we're supposed to do, to know where we're supposed to be? Am I doing the right thing? Am I honoring your word? I want to serve you. I just need to know I'm doing it right. Have you ever felt that way? If so, this is for you. You see, the truth is God made this so easy that it's incredibly hard. Let's break this down today. When we give our lives to Jesus, what did he ask of us in return? To go to church, to tithe, start being nicer to people, try to love and not hate? No. You see, the truth is this walk with God is so much more than just behavior modification. It's about a complete transformation. Your walk with God is exactly that, a walk with God. Jesus gave his life for you, and then he asked you to give your life to him in return. Please pay attention. All of this, your life, your purpose, your call, starts with you giving your life to Jesus. But that's not what we do, is it? Jesus tells us, follow me. And we say, okay, Jesus, I'm ready to follow you. We raise our hands, we give our life to him. Then we walk out of the church, and instead of following Jesus, we try to drag Jesus with us. But if you do that, none of this will make sense. And the blessings and favor and promises that you see in other people's lives, you won't see in yours. Okay, that seems a little harsh. Why, Kelly? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Because this is all about dying to yourself and following Jesus. This is how it should work. Jesus says, I gave my life for you. I love you. I have seen the beginning from the end, and I know exactly what you need in your life. So trust me. Follow me. I'll lead you where you need to go. All right, you with me so far? So let's say we actually do that. We actually give our lives to Jesus. Jesus, you can have my thoughts, my words, my actions, my everything. Where you go, I go. What you say, I say. I just want you. Oh, son, now watch this. If you are living your life like that, and all of your trust is in him, no matter what happens to you today, something good happens? Sweet. Thank you, Father. What a great day. Something bad happens. Sweet, Father. Thank you for building me, for molding me, making me into who you've called me to be. Thank you for using difficult times and people and situations to make me into who you created me to be. You getting it? When you truly give your life to Jesus and you put all of your faith, hope, and trust in him, no matter where you find yourself, you know this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Whoever you find yourself with, Father, I trust that this is exactly who you need me to be with right now. You see, Proverbs 16:9 tells us we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. Look, I know you don't always know what God wants you to do, but he never asked you to know that. He asked you to trust him. You go and make your plans, but when it doesn't go the way that you want or the way you thought it would happen, it doesn't matter because, Father, I trust you. This is why Paul says, I count it all as joy, no matter what I go through, because his trust was in the Lord. But please pay attention, trusting that wherever you go is where you're supposed to be, and whoever you see is who God intended you to encounter. That only works if you've given your entire life to Jesus and put all of your trust into him. So let me encourage you today. If you know you've given your life to Jesus and all of your trust is in him, you can breathe a little easier today because you're following Jesus. And wherever he takes you is exactly where you need to be. No man is your friend. No man is your enemy. Every man is your teacher. The people that God chooses to put in our lives are not always who we would choose. But when we trust him and we know that we can learn from everyone, it changes the way we see our situation. Follow Jesus today. Follow so close that you're covered in the dust of your rabbi. Because Jesus wore sandals and walked in the dirt. So if you were close, you get it. I know you may have never planned to be where you are today, but the Lord is determining your steps. And if you're in the middle of it right now, there's a reason. Trust him. He's never failed anybody. He won't start today with you. And think about that for a minute.
Man, I love
Thoughts,
Kelly.
sir?
Yeah, Kelly is awesome. It's just the way he teaches is amazing. He establishes our steps, and this is we've talked about it. They had that little sign, stop. God's still writing your story. Stop trying to steal the pen. Trust the author. And it's a great little saying, because when we get frustrated with things not going the way we would like them or the way we would prefer to see them go, it doesn't help anything. Really, it's the same reason why the Israelites, were wandering in the desert for 40 years, why that stiff-necked generation wasn't ever allowed into the promised land, because they were resistant.
Complaining and whining.
Yeah, and so we can't complain and whine, but what we should be doing instead, yes, things suck. Okay, get it. Roger that. Okay, now what is he trying to tell us? Why do things suck? What do I need to change about me so that way I can get out of this damn desert I've been wandering in for so long? And I think that's what it really boils on down to.
I will say I have been whiny today. It's been hard for me today. I've been struggling, but I'm working through it.
Oh, regarding Flynn? Yeah, I've heard things. I have nothing that is any kind of proof whatsoever. So I'm not trying to impeach his character. I hear that he's still in Trump's inner circle, but I haven't really seen him present or around. It's the lack of proximity, but at the same time, that could be a feint or some kind of strategic move to distance the two, which would make a lot of sense if that's what's being run around in the background. Keep in mind, he was psychological operations, very, very brilliant man, and he knows how to run some operation like what we believe Q is doing, correct? So if that's the case, it would make sense that there's distance between the two of them, especially considering that we're really kind of in a state of war right now, and not the kind of war that any of us are used to, because we know that these people won't throw on some uniforms and line up and some kind of formation or anything. They ain't playing that game. What they're doing is they're being sneaky little bastards hiding in the background like some kind of rotten ass snake. And so we got to play the games a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. So if
there's a lot of snakes right now,
there's a lot of snakes, and I try to reserve judgment on a lot of these people because I really don't know. I mean, we've seen things, but how many of us have actually, like, some of them are beyond a shadow of a doubt, but others, there's such a lack of information that it's difficult to tell. So I'm keeping my mind open to all of it and see how it plays out. But I have a feeling that it's all going to play out a lot better than any of us ever even imagined. That's my thoughts.
Ready?
Yep.
Let's listen to Jesse.
Power went out in New York, upstate.
Oh, goodness. And she's getting snow.
Yeah, snow. Evil snow.
And it's a new day over at The View. The ladies have to think before they speak.
How could you nominate someone with allegations of child trafficking across state lines and having sex with a 17-year-old?
Hey, Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
Even if Sonny Hostage doesn't respect the Trump team, ABC Network brass does. They're owned by Disney. They already tangled with DeSantis and lost. This incoming administration isn't going to let companies use the airwaves for free to slander. The media is on its heels for the first time. Their audience is checked out, and if They aren't fair. They're going to get called out.
I have a couple videos about them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Can I play the next one?
Yeah,
And
I
then-
just want Esto has right. Sonny is big mad.
Oh, yeah. Watch this.
All right.
This was awesome. Not so Sonny's resting bitch face really showed through. Kind of looks like a hostage video. Play the clip.
Sonny, you have a
Look at
legal
the
note. I
trailer.
do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has
Look
long
at her
denied all
face.
allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism.
Lawyers are
The
lining up.
DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being
spew.
brought. We'll be right back.
Look at the predator. Jeez. Did you see her face? Like holy water on a demon. I bet you that was very difficult for her. And from the looks of it, it was very difficult for Whopper Goldberg too, which is why they cut straight to a commercial so that they can let all the steam blow out their ears. Let the winning continue. God, the left are funny as hell, boy. Hey, remember, man, for more mean tweet commentary that triggers the libs, don't forget to hit your boy up and make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time I put out some more mean tweet commentary, aka fire and brimstone commentary. And don't forget to hit me up on X. It's Craig Long 45. And don't forget to hit me up on Instagram, official Craig Long 45. Y'all know where to find me, man. And to you libbies.
Thoughts?
It's pretty funny. They got to eat some crow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more of that boomerang though, and this is what's coming back. See, the thing is they've been going after everything everybody's been saying, from the conservative side forever and a day, and we don't have the added benefit of having legal teams there to make sure that we, clarify. So we have to, actually have accountability for what we say, and we have to really think about it, because we know that they would do absolutely anything to shut down a conservative perspective, even if it was telling the truth. And that's pretty sad. Let's see. D says, until they can show me concrete proof on the accusations on Matt Gaetz, in my book, he's not guilty. Yeah, no, I don't believe he's guilty either. But again, just a feeling. I really have a feeling that, he is a good guy, and that there's a much bigger role going to be played for him, because he was one of the very few people who was absolutely solid in support of Trump, and taking it, on the chin more than one time, trying to make sure that, we, the people, had a chance.
Exactly. Now, I have Doc.
All right.
And he's talking about Trump broke Whoopi Goldberg. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump broke Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi is still very much on her sex strike. Whoopi is now attacking bakeries. She would be in a bakery, wouldn't she? Whoopi walks into this bakery on Staten Island, just mom and pop business, places a mundane order, and they're like, "Hey, ma'am, hey, I'm sorry, our boilers are down. We're unable to fulfill your order." Well, that's all it took for Whoopi. Whoopi then gets on The View in front of their very low rating audience. They wouldn't serve me. Well, I know it's not because I'm a woman, but I am a woman of color. And it was more likely for my political affiliation. Now, Whoopi was under the impression that she could pull that stunt and get away with it. That was until the people of Staten Island got word of this. And were they pissed? I mean pissed. So pissed that even the borough president, the bakery owner, and their patrons rallied together, got on live national television, and basically told Whoopi to stick it. Sit and spin, Buttercup. Off is where you can fuck. Eat a bag of dick. No, you can't say that. She's on a sex strike. Well, piss off. Well, we don't want your fucking business anyway. I mean, shredded Whoopi served her ass on a golden platter. Staten Island served up a heaping help of Whoopi souffle. I've never been so proud to be an American. I swear to God.
Doc is hilarious. So it's those ladies are gonna be getting spanked for a while, just because, like a cat. The way a cat plays with a mouse before it actually, does the deed that a cat does with the mouse, right? Before it, not that that's what they're going to do. Yeah, I got to be careful about what I say because I don't have a legal team like The View does. But regardless, when a cat, plays with its prey for a little while, it's almost like that's what's going to happen with these gals. They're going to be forced to eat a lot of crow and be forced to come to the realization that nobody likes them anymore, and so many people didn't like them to begin with. They're only there because really they're part of some shitty ass club that wants you to do really things that are not in your best interest to be part of their club.
And dare I say, humble themselves?
I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice if they kind of woke up to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it turns out. Yeah, I love Doc. He's great. He's amazing.
Yep. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, after that, let's listen to some of God's word.
There we go. Need that.
Jesus says, sometimes I put you in places alone because I need you to realize that you do not need anybody but me. Don't worry about your future. You have me and I will guide you. Trust me. I did not forget about you. My timing is just different from yours. Stay positive and trust that everything is working for your good. Have faith, even if you think you can't do it. You know that I can do all things. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is my will for you in Christ Jesus. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And never forget that I love you, my child, and will always love you. Amen. Comment amen if you agree, and send this to the first person God puts on your mind.
This one hit hard today when I listened to it, which is why I wanted to play it for everyone. Because honestly, I am struggling. I'm struggling hard. And I needed that reminder that he's with me and he's got me on my path. And I just need to have faith and trust. And that everything that has happened that's made me sad happened for a reason. In Yeshua's name, amen.
Amen. Life is filled with challenges. We've been kind of talking about that, and things have changed. They're not what they used to be, and pruning, etc., etc. Everything that the Bible talks about. As we go through our life, things are going to get pruned out. Things are going to change, and everybody's able to do whatever it is they do. And hey, Pudnut, what's going on? Good evening. It's part of our growth process. And it doesn't always mean that it's a terrible thing. As a matter of fact, it's probably the best thing. And I know that it can be challenging when we have those ideas built in our head, but it's that trust in God and the fact that just because things don't go the way we thought that we wanted them to go, it doesn't mean that the best thing isn't actually happening for everybody involved. And I think that that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Kevin O'Leary explains how Musk is uniquely qualified to squeeze these contracts out of government.
Ready?
Yep.
Here's the teeth. Elon has his own multi-billion network. He can find you, if you're a senator or governor, that put one of these contracts in your state, and he can start publishing the information about the subcontractors. He can put you in the spotlight so your constituency who votes for you sees every day on X and Twitter, formerly Twitter, what you did and what you're not doing about it. squeezing their heads like teenage pimples. I love this. I love this. I love this. And that's how it's going to work. He doesn't need a mandate. He has his own network. That's why he bought X. He's going to squeeze these contracts out of the government, save billions of dollars. Look, I'm speculating, but I know how this guy works, and I know the tools he has. Cost plus contracts, sayonara.
Thoughts?
So, yeah, it's going to be a masterclass on efficiency. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Kevin O'Leary, he's kind of his own thing, another Canadian, who's come here to America and done very well for himself, but he's big. He's very, very smart and savvy in business, and he may be hardcore and he may cut a lot of things, and a lot of people may not agree with the way he goes about doing things, but the man knows business and he knows genius when he sees it. And he sees that with Elon Musk, and he sees the amount of what Elon is capable of doing that's so far and beyond what they can even expect. And Elon knows how to use his platform. He knows how to use what he has. He has set himself in this place, and I'm sure he's maybe had a little bit of help. And I do believe that, Elon Musk is going to get our budget down to something a lot closer to what it always should have looked like. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and guys, I'm a klutz, okay? And the door shut on it. I'm going to.
Well, it didn't shut on it.
Yes, it did. That's what happened.
Oh.
I'm going tomorrow at 1:30 to get an x-ray. I promise I'm just a big old klutz. I mean, I missed a stare not too long ago. I'm just a klutz. Can you read that, please?
Yeah, sure. Julie Kelly says those who tormented the J6 political prisoners are becoming the tormented.
Yes.
As they should be.
Okay, I need to answer Esto right now. Is there a prayer chain for the group? We actually use the Bible app, YouVersion, but we also do Telegram. But I want to do something like that so that we can, do this. I just don't know how to set it up at this time, but I'm trying to figure it out. Ready?
Yeah.
These reckless, lawless DC judges. And I would walk out of those courtrooms and I would say to myself, those degenerates are not going to win. They are not going to prevail. This is not the country and the system my ancestors fought for. And I'll be damned if these prosecutors, I'm not going to name names now, but I will, and I already am to other people, they are not going to do this to this country and to these Americans. So I feel gratified. I feel satisfied that now they're on the other side of this. And more importantly, that J6 defendants know that their tormentors aren't the ones now being tormented. To pick up on your hunted are the hunters. The tormentors are being tormented. They're finding lawyers. They're losing sleep. They're worried their livelihoods will be destroyed. They're worried about their wives leaving them or their children abandoning them because they will be exposed for what they've done. Now they are the ones on the other side. And that is something we can all be happy about.
Thought. And Mike, you're amazing. I love that thought. I'm going to do that. And I'm using that name. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Mike.
Okay. Thoughts, sir.
Okay. So, let's see. The hunters are going to be the hunted or are becoming the hunted. That's exactly what's happening. And now they're having to go through all those things. They are going to lawyer up. And you know what? They've lived so well for so long because they were corrupt pieces of shit. And they have treated human beings poorly because what? They felt like they had a right or something because they felt that their version of America was better and that they can just treat everybody like trash that they disagree with. It's kind of what the Nazis do. And I look forward to the justice coming on that one because you know what? They need to lose absolutely everything because of all of the political prisoners that are still being held. and the political prisoners who chose to no longer be here because of their very corruption. So whatever pride they took in other people's misery, so that way they could, like take over the country like traitors do. Yeah, good luck, bro. And you know what? If you get some sleepless nights, you did that for so long for everybody else in this country, enjoy it, because now you get what's called empathy. That means that you can understand on a personal level because it's happening to you now. I pray that you learn everything you need to learn sooner rather than later.
Hey, Texas Liberty.
Hey, Texas Liberty. Thanks for joining. Straight out of the Q posts, hunters will become the hunted. Show enough. And that's what's happening.
And no, F. Clan, you can, just because it's Facebook doesn't mean we can't do good, sir. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
CNN is pilling on Psycho Joe and Crazy Mika for laughable Trump olive branch.
Ready?
Essentially, that they feared retribution, and that's partly why they sought out this meeting.
What kind of retribution are we talking about here?
I think there's a wide spectrum, and to be fair to Brzezinski and Scarborough, they're not the only MSNBC hosts or the only. The word journalist is complicated, right? Because they're more like personalities, but there are a number of journalists at places like the AP and other big news outlets that are concerned about retaliation in the coming months. Anything from IRS audits to lawsuits and things like that. There are media outlets bulking up on lawyers, thinking about having more libel insurance, those sorts of things. Now, I don't know exactly what the specific concern Joe and Mika had was or wasn't, but they're not the only MSNBC personalities worried about retaliation. However, they are the only ones to go down to Mar-a-Lago and have a meeting.
Yeah, Scott, you were shaking your head.
I mean, isn't it possible too that they're just two people who are so full of themselves, so full of self-aggrandizement that they would feel like that they would be personally
Scott, don't tell anyone, but some of their colleagues feel that way.
Well, first of all, I can see why. Second of all, if that's what happened and if that's what they truly believe, why didn't they go on TV and say that? We went down there to meet with the president to tell him that, hey, anyone who's been critical of you, you should treat us like journalists and not like the enemy. They didn't go on TV and say that. They went on TV and portrayed it much differently. So what I hear you saying in your reporting is they had a motive that they weren't willing to disclose to their audience, which I think should get them more scorn today than they were already getting to begin with.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point that out. I'm glad you brought that up.
I didn't know.
Potato Head's still around?
I didn't know that. I thought he got fired.
I thought he did too. Well, I guess they got to find a replacement first.
Yeah.
They're going to try to cover their tracks. A cat covers its shit because it doesn't want other predators knowing where it's at, right? And that's kind of what's going on. Is they're trying to cover it up. Oh look, it's really not that bad. No, please, no, don't do that. Kind of stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, you should have thought about that before you went on your relentless, never-ending attack to put the man in jail and have him unalived, let alone not just him, but all of his supporters, that you made us sound like we were crazy, psychotic people, when in all actuality, we were just trying to figure out what the truth was, because y'all are a bunch of serial liars. Oh, by the way, another Q post as of today is you are the news now. So yeah, I mean, we really are. And I know I say that we're not news, but I mean, really in the end, we're putting the information forth and we're trying to see what we're learning. So they did it to themselves. Yeah. It's going to take a lot for them to build that trust back up. But, I mean, we'll see how it plays out.
Yes. Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Alexis de Tocqueville accurately predicted what kind of tyranny democratic modern nations would face. Yes, he did.
Ready?
Yeah. He also predicted
Did you
so
know
much.
that already back in 1840, French philosopher Alexis de Tocqueville very accurately predicted and described in his book Democracy in America what type of tyranny a modern population like the American one had to be fearful of? Because as Tocqueville predicted, tyranny in a modern democratic society like America would look very different from the types of tyranny that European nations had faced up until then in aristocratic societies, for example. Let me quote. It covers the service of society with a network of small, complicated rules through which the most original minds and the most energetic characters cannot penetrate to rise above the crowd. The will of man is not shattered, but softened, bent, and guided. Men are seldom forced by it to act, but they are constantly restrained from acting. Such a power does not destroy, but it prevents existence. It does not tyrannize, but it compresses, enervates, extinguishes, and stupefies a people, till each nation is reduced to nothing better than a flock of timid and industrious animals, of which the government is the shepherd. Well, if that is not an accurate description of what actually ended up happening, not just to America, but to all modern democratic societies who have turned into absolute bureaucratic nightmares, then I don't know what is. Tocqueville was absolutely right. And that's why I'm so excited and happy to congratulate Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk on their appointments of the leader of the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, because for the first time in American history, now actively, there will be a government organization working against this type of tyranny that Tocqueville warned about.
Thoughts?
In which case, in a couple hundred years, it'll be the very source of corruption.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. That's where the power lies. It's where the purse will have to go through, and eventually different, I guess, procedures and whatnot. They can't help themselves. They have to be in absolute power. That's what they do. That's what those who think themselves to be of some kind of royal blood always believe. So that they deserve it more so than everybody else because they were the lucky sperm or some shit. I don't know, but that's what they do. So yeah, I can see that in a couple hundred years that the Doge is probably one of the main problems. So yeah, gotta, who watches the watchers kind of thing.
Right.
Anyway, regardless, Alexis de Tocqueville predicted a lot of things. He predicted so much about this nation that has come true. And I think he predicted that people would stop reading books and they'd only visit the theater. In which case we could certainly say that because so few people are reading, but they sure do watch a lot of theater. It's just electronic theater and they don't have to get out of the house.
And it hangs on their wall.
And it hangs on their wall. Kind of like in WALL-E where all the fat blobs were, kind of riding around on the little floating chair. I mean, that's kind of where we've been heading to. And, like Tocqueville was talking about, the government wants to be your shepherd and tell you everything. Good night, D. Have a good one. Thanks for joining. Anyways, if you are incapable of doing anything on your own, like they want you to believe, then you have no choice but to listen to the shepherd of the great shepherd in Washington, D.C. Fortunately, we are spared from that. But always keep in mind, we are always only one generation away from absolute tyranny and the death of our republic. Always stay vigilant, friends. Aaron says, Elon, I think it was said that Doge will be done by July 4th, 2025. If they're going to shut it down, I think that's important. But at the same time, so many things are going to change. It's going to be difficult to see what's going to happen. But if they are going to shut down Doge, then that's probably a good thing. Unlike Department of Homeland Security, which was never going to go away.
Yeah.
Wendy says, how do we go to mentioning sperms and how lucky it can be? Because some people were born with some kind of bloodline or whatever.
True.
And so therefore they somehow are more suited to rule over the rest of us that are just
peons,
human beings like them. No, we're not peons.
I know.
They want to pee on us.
I know.
But that's because they're weird. I mean, shit, they do a lot more weird shit than that.
Okay, we're moving on to Craig.
All right, we should.
Ready?
Yes.
When you're wearing down and don't feel like you can go on, you'll quote the word of God. Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, I will reap a harvest from my God if I do not give up. Whenever you're afraid of what's coming at you, you just preach the word to yourself. My God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. When you feel stuck, you tell yourself, I am confident of this, that he who began a good work in me will bring it about into completion. When you're hurting because your daughter's still sick, you run to God who promises that he is your refuge and your strength, your ever-present help in a time of trouble. And no matter what happens, you tell yourself the word of God. The Lord my God is with me, therefore I will not be shaken. Whether you know it or not, you are desperate for God's word.
All right. So, thank God Kate changed gears on us with Craig, because it was going down a rabbit hole we wanted nothing to do with. But, you know, the Royals, they can go do royal things over there, but just don't think you're in charge of us. Anyways, so God will see his plan through to completion. And I know that a lot of us have that fear, that concern that we won't be able to do whatever it is that God wanted us to do. But that's kind of a ridiculous thought when you think about it from start to finish, because it's like saying, I'm too dumb for God to, you know, do what he needed me to do. In which case, I'm pretty confident that God has already made accommodations for our inadequacies, our lack of brilliance for us, so that way we could get his work to completion. Because after all, it's God's work that he wants done, and so we will do that. But we can make it look better or worse for us in the long run. But in the end, we're going to do what God wants us to do. So we really have to, you know, recognize that that worry, that fear, that is the devil talking to us. It's the devil telling us that, you know, we're not worthy, that we can't do it. You know, we are an absolute failure, but that's not the case. Again, God will see his work to completion. Have faith in the fact that he's going to do what he wanted to do, regardless of whether or not you cooperated.
Yeah, exactly. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Joe Rogan blasts the New York Times for their insane fact check on RFK Jr. about Fruit Loops. That was the most ridiculous fact check. Whatever.
I know. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The New York Times just debunked, in the most insane way, debunked RFK Jr.'s assertion that the ingredients in Fruit Loops are different in Canada than they are in the United States. They fact checked it while saying he was accurate. So their fact check, it's so dumb when you see the I tweeted it. The fact check is so dumb because the fact check says it's not correct. They have the same ingredients except for these harmful chemicals.
What the fuck?
Look at this. Mr. Kennedy has singled out Fruit Loops as an example of a product with too many artificial ingredients, questioning why the Canadian version has fewer than the U.S. version. But he was wrong. The ingredient list is roughly the same, although Canada's has natural colorings made from blueberries and carrots, while the U.S. product contains red dye 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, as well as butylated hydroxytoluene, or BHT, a lab-made chemical that is used for freshness, according to the ingredient label. That is the fucking dangerous chemicals that are banned in Canada that we're trying to get rid of in America, and that of RFK. So they're literally saying he was wrong, but he was right.
Yeah, that made my brain hurt just reading that.
That's
it was just
the
like
New York fucking Times.
Well, PewDiePie hadn't dressed like a Nazi for a while, so I didn't have anything to talk about, right?
I don't know what that's about.
Oh,
but,
sorry.
But this is what the New York Times is doing. So, of course, you're going to hemorrhage subscribers. Of course. You're crazy. You're saying something that's nuts. And also, what is your motivation? Like, what's your motivation for removing potentially harmful and toxic chemicals? If someone is trying to do that for the greater health of the population, if we're saying that these things have been eliminated in other countries because they've been proven to be dangerous, what is your motivation for saying he was wrong?
Money.
Well,
I mean, what else could it be?
Clearly,
Ideology, you know, left-wing rejection of RFK Jr. because now he's connected to Trump, which is connected to Nazis. It's like you go down this fucking weird rabbit hole with these people, and you're like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to remove all leftover credibility? Are you trying to eliminate because you lost so much credibility? Are you trying to kill it all? Are you secretly working for the Chinese? Like, what are you doing?
They're all
What
in.
are you doing?
It's probably back.
There you go.
Thoughts?
Chachi says that article is totally controlled opposition disclosure, exposure, set up just for Rogan to highlight. Yeah, I believe that because what could be more ridiculous than talking about how great red dye number 40 is? I mean, it's petroleum based. Of course, we want to drink out of the oil well. Yeah, that's a great idea. So I have a feeling that the New York Times is going to be up for sale soon. Could be pretty cheap.
Right.
You know, that's if they don't do the financial lightning and burn the whole thing down to the ground first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got to collect that insurance cash. You know,
Exactly.
unlike the people who lost everything in the Carolinas. Are we getting to that, by the way?
We are.
The snow out there?
Yeah. You
All right,
ready?
yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Stephen A. Smith justifies the need for Doge and eliminating government waste. Okay. I mean, who hasn't wanted to eliminate government waste?
Ready?
Yeah.
Government waste. Easy sell, right? Easy, very, very easy. Most Americans believe that our money is being wasted. And that's what really turns us off about an inordinate amount of politicians. We consistently wonder what the hell are they doing with our money. That's why anytime you're talking about taxes, if you're talking about not raising taxes, you automatically appeal to a vast majority of voters, because what they're saying is, okay, the people that were asking us for our money never truly identify for us what they're actually doing with those dollars and why they keep coming to us every 2 to 4 years asking for more and more and more. So anytime somebody's talking about, you know, eradicating government waste and sort of curtailing the level of spending, you know, that's something that's going to appeal to a lot of people.
Thoughts?
Of course, getting rid of waste is going to appeal to a lot of people.
And by the way, he's super left.
The narrative is changing. They have to change the narrative because when they try to stick to their guns, they end up sounding like the New York Times, and nobody wants to sound like the New York Times. Wow, if our grandparents could have only have ever heard that the New York Times was so untrustworthy that it's a mockery of what journalism is. But I guess it had to happen this way. So now that those who have recognized that they were on the losing side and tried to play the game for the other team and lost, they're going to have to change what they say now. And they're on this great apology tour, which, you know, kind of fun. You know, grovel more, maybe we'll care. Try groveling.
Oh, by the way, just for today, Wendy is liberal and she is offended by the language. Just so you know.
All right. Well, how's that working out for you?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Wisconsin City School Board votes for bathroom and sports sanity over gender lunacy.
Ready?
Yeah.
Gender war vote at Watertown Unified. It leads to possible big changes for students in the district.
The district is changing who can use which bathrooms and play in certain sports. Christina Van Zelst is live at Riverside Middle School. The board voted tonight. Christina, you said it was just really emotional.
It was, Kim, and this meeting was absolutely packed. There were 450 people packed in the cafeteria. Another 100 people moved to a separate room to watch the meeting live. And then people who didn't get in, who were waiting outside the doors for when people left to come in so that they could speak. So a lot of people here tonight, more than 500 showed up. And then you had those strong emotions and strong opinions on both sides. So the school district was calling it their gender support plan. And the board did move ahead tonight with a vote this evening. They approved what it describes as Plan C, and that considers biological sex in bathroom assignments and sports. So students can only use bathrooms and locker rooms based on their sex assigned at birth. For sports, athletes can only compete on teams that are the same as the person's biological sex. Plan C also allows staff to drop pronouns or names other than the student's legal name. Now, the first plan that was discussed was that the school would continue operating as is, which was students could use bathrooms, locker rooms, and play sports with the gender they identify with. Again, we heard from both sides before the meeting started. Here's what parents had to say.
I don't feel that we need to have gender neutral bathrooms, considering that they've been sex generated our whole life. Why change it now?
I'm hoping that they could, the community comes together to make sure to protect all the children and not create any fear, or, that we could come together and just have rights for everyone.
Tonight, the school board also amended a part of this policy, which allows administrators to be flexible with both district and Title IX policies. And the school board did say at the beginning of the meeting tonight that they appreciate people's passion and hearing from both sides tonight. Reporting live in Watertown, Christina Van Zelst, Fox 6 News.
Christina, thank you.
Thoughts? I see Chachi's got some intel going on.
Yeah, got a lot of homies from Watertown, Wisconsin. Got to make some calls, see what's going on. Yeah, get the real scoop that way, huh? But sounds like Sanity might be returning.
Might be.
Maybe, possibly. Huh. But good thing is the reason why it's happening is because everybody showed up. Everybody showed up and made their voice heard, and they seem to be more likely to listen. And I think that that's going to be one of the interesting things that we find is as they continue these woke ass policies that they've been pushing, like to a ridiculous level, in terms of making people bow down to what they say. Now that Trump has been elected, I have a feeling they might have some encouragement to listen to the other side now, because the people have spoken. And when the people spoke, they said that they were sick and tired of all of this. They truly got a education about the fact that so much of America doesn't like this. We don't want your woke agenda. Your woke agenda is making us worse and worse by the minute. And so cut it out, because we got to fix all of this shit.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
The sound of a 1970 Chevelle is poetic American muscle. Oh, that's awesome. I love this.
You want to read that real quick?
Chachi says they have an awesome fest in the summer called River Fest. I've never been anywhere where outlaw bike Mexican gangbangers and farmer folks were all drunk on beer and getting along fine, no fights. It can happen.
It can. Ready?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thoughts?
I love that sound. I love that sound.
You gotta love that
It's
sound.
got a little bit of a lope on that cam, it's just kind of letting everybody know that it's a car ready to run. But Old American Muscle is always fun to listen to, and truly it gets me excited. I love American Muscle. I think it's great. And I look forward to our car companies, making cars that people might actually want to buy again.
That's a beautiful car.
That is a beautiful car, and people would be happy with that. You know what I want more than anything else?
What?
Are those little flapper windows in the front windows where you had the little twist lever and it would spin open. I forgot what those are called, but the vent windows, I think.
The vent windows.
Yeah, the vent windows. I think so. Anyways, yeah.
Exactly, Wendy. They
What?
don't. She said, I love that sound. They don't make cars like that anymore, and they don't.
Well, yeah, make cars great again. Exactly.
Oh, wing window.
Wing windows. Yes, the wing windows. Yeah, make cars great again.
Please.
It's something that we need. And the cars have been getting jacked with because of the Californication of our nation.
Obama.
Well, not just that, just the Californication in general with all of this environmental laws. And look, I'm glad that we've, really worked on trying to deal with keeping the air a little bit cleaner than it would be otherwise. I remember how clear the air was when nobody was going to work during the Rona. During the Rona. So it would be nice, because I know that we have the technology available, especially if the manufacturers actually had a reason to do that. But I'd also like to see it so that way people can actually work on their cars again. That shade tree mechanic might have that chance, because with all of the computer wizardry, I don't trust it. I don't trust any of that stuff, because from a satellite, they can turn your car off and lock you in your car, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it other than break the windows. that is not something I want. I'm not buying a product that somebody else can turn into a remote control car. I'm wanting to buy a product that is mine, especially once I get the title. I don't want to have to pay for a subscription or anything like that. I want to be able to hop in the car, turn the key in the ignition, and know that it's going to turn on. Something that the car manufacturers have gotten okay about. But there's a lot left on the table in terms of where our car culture should go. America is a car culture, and America needs to get its car culture back. We need to be able to go to the Sonic, if it's still around after the dust settles, and we need to be able to go to Sonic and show off our car and have that pride and meet people in our community that have something like that. They've been trying to kill our car forever, and now each and every car out there looks the same. You know, I saw it's Vegas, so keep in mind we get all sorts of crap out here. What was it? It was the Land Rover looks exactly like the Rolls-Royce SUV.
Mm-hmm.
And then how many of the SUVs all look the same?
Most of them.
We've lost our heart and soul in our auto industry. I look forward to the revival of our auto industry because it is something that's very American. Steph says, you should hear my husband's 1979 Ford F-150. I bet you it's epic. Aaron says, those are the best, Santino, especially in the heat. Oh, the vent windows. Yeah, the vent windows.
Glad you're here, Steve.
Hey, Steve, thanks for joining. Vent windows, poor man air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it sure is nice to feel the wind on your face.
Yeah. She's got those in the truck.
Oh, nice. Esther says, saw a Jeep yesterday that didn't even look like a Jeep. Yeah, Jeep's dying too.
Mm-hmm.
Colleen says, I remember those and rolling the windows up and down. I know, and yet the universal symbol for roll your window down is still this.
I know. Nobody walks up and does the button push.
Yeah, nobody does the button push. Yeah. Funny stuff.
Exactly.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go.
Cherry limeade.
Your comfort is killing your calling. This week, I need you to evaluate. What have you been eating on? What have you been devouring? What have you been allowing to cover you? What have you been entertaining? What have you been entertained by? That is only for comfort. God is asking you to sacrifice it. Pastor Mike, why? Because until you sacrifice everything that has made you comfortable in this season, you will never be able to walk fully into the promise that God has for you in the next season. David literally compromises everything that God wants to do with him. But I love the story of David because at the end of his life, God literally calls him a man after his own heart. How in the world could I be in this level of comfort, but then at the end of my life be known for being a man or a woman after God's own heart? This is encouragement for all of us. So no matter how comfortable you've been in the things that have been killing your calling, it's not too late for deliverance. What did I say the first step of deliverance was? Repenting. Turning. And David would come to God and say, God, I'm sorry. I messed this thing all the way up. Forgive me. Give me another opportunity. See, what I found is comfort, it sounds good and it sells good. I ask you in the front, how many people love being comfortable? And everybody raise their hand. The truth of the matter is, I've lost 50 pounds. And not one, amen, thank you. And not one day of working out was comfortable. Not one, there was not one chicken and green bean meal that was more appetizing than dirty Chinese food. I love me some dirty Chinese food. The egg rolls, wontons, and the whole. Not one time. It never was better to me, but it was better for me. See, comfort, last point, is a counterfeit, and it appears cheap, but it costs everything.
Thoughts, sir?
No growth in comfort. Never happens. Gotta be in that constant state of a little bit of chaos. Doesn't have to all be chaos, but that little bit of chaos is exactly where we're able to grow. And that's what we need. We are here to make it through these challenges. And every single time you make it through a challenge, how awesome do you feel after you've made it through a tough time? How awesome does it feel when you are the victor over a, challenge in life? See, these are the things is we're given these challenges and we have to recognize that really we don't have much to say about the situation that we're in. And so we just got to put it in God. We got to have that faith and confidence, and we got to do the best that we can. We can't just give up and say, okay, I'm not doing anything. That's not it. We're not supposed to do nothing, but what we are supposed to do is do what we can and go to where we're led to do what we're led to do. And then that's how we learn to make it in our own unique life challenges that we have, because everybody's challenges are going to be different. And it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. We just got to figure out how we're going to make it through it. Chops, hey Chops, says my 2014 has window cranks. It's a Fiesta, so they probably didn't have room for a motor.
True.
Yeah, but those things can be little pocket rockets too. Little Unker says, what's dirty Chinese food? I don't know.
I think he's talking about greasy and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you ready?
Because there is some that's kind of
Yeah.
like super greasy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, I'm ready.
Can you read that, please?
32 years ago, Al Gore warned about a hole in the ozone layer over America. Rush Limbaugh countered.
Ready?
Yes.
Got local environmental problems, regional problems like acid rain. Now we've got a whole new category of global or strategic problems, which include the hole in the ozone layer, which now could appear above the United States, global climate change, the destruction of the rainforests at a rate that means they'll be totally gone in another few decades unless we stop, the pollution of the oceans and the atmosphere, and the like. These represent brand new challenges that call for a new kind of response.
Rush, I've listened to you many afternoons, as you know, and you tend to, I don't want to say you dismiss all of these issues, but at least you dismiss them as having been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Well, absolutely. I don't think that there's anything conclusive about what Senator Gore said, with all due respect. I think, for example, there is no ozone hole over the United States. If we want to get into the detailed discussion of ozone depletion, we can, but I think, Ted, that there is not a crisis. See, this is the problem I have. I don't think the Earth is fragile. I don't think the ecology is fragilely balanced. And I think that the doomsday industry that is typified by members of the Hollywood acting community who say we've only got 10 years left to save our planet, we've got to act now. There's no way, if what these people say is true, that we could solve these problems in 10 years anyway. It's budget time in Washington. NASA's being cut. And I think that this fright and doom scenario is designed to frighten people. Everything in this country today seems to be a crisis. We can't do anything without it being having to face it as a crisis. We don't have any time to think about it. There are as many scientists, maybe even more, on the opposite side of all of these doomsday predictions. And I think that
That's
they need
not
to be listened
true.
to. Yeah, oh, yes, there are.
That's not true. If I can jump in there, Ted, where the ozone hole is concerned, for example, the linkage between these chemicals, chlorofluorocarbons, and the ozone hole is established. There may be 1/100th of 1% of the scientific community that disputes it.
Oh, no. It's far more than that. Ted, that the environmental movement, as fueled by the militants who lead it, I think is the new home of socialism.
The ozone hole is threatening to open up above North America, above Kennebunkport, and still we're not reacting.
Aren't you glad he invented the internet?
Yeah. I'm sure he's not glad he invented the internet anymore. It's what ended up taking all their crap down.
I know.
Screw him. It's the reason why we don't have big hair anymore. I miss Aquanet. Make Aquanet great again.
No, you don't.
What? No, it was ridiculous hair, but we don't even have that opportunity anymore.
I know.
Shame.
It's a shame.
That's why we don't have nice things, because of chlorofluorocarbons.
I know. Can't have nothing nice.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Racist. Representative Jasmine Crockett is back to raging against the white man.
Ready?
Damn white man.
I'm out.
Is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We're not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen. So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like, and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed, that y'all are the ones that are being harmed.
Thoughts?
It's ESC, not ECS.
What do you mean?
ESCAPE. Escape.
I know.
Not escape.
I know.
Whatever. Anyways, besides that, you know what? I appreciate her rant because she has absolutely no clue. She is trying to hold on to something that had absolutely nothing to do with her as she sits there in the halls of Congress talking about how she's oppressed.
Right?
Well, isn't that interesting? Sure wish that I would have had the government go ahead and approve my VA home loan. That would have been nice. A guaranteed home loan. Yeah, that wasn't guaranteed. Yeah, sure wish the VA would do, some of the things that they promised, like the GI Bill working the way it was promised. So many promises. I feel oppressed because it's happening to me. It didn't happen to any of my ancestors. I mean, they were kind of brushed off to the side because they weren't exactly white back in the day, but I'm not really holding on to that. I mean, my pops, he had direct discrimination happen against him when he was introduced to a governor.
Yes.
And that was acceptable. The thing is we don't hold on to it because it only says something about those people, and the people who are profiting off of that more than anything else. I believe that they're going to recognize that in the end, they were a bunch of whiny bitches. Are there people who have not received a fair shake? Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, there's plenty of people who make it out and not have to play any card because they're just good people, and good people generally end up having good things happen to them, regardless of race, creed, color, national origin, any of that stuff. Yeah, we're all immigrants. Yes, the First Nations got screwed. What's your point? I didn't do it. Exactly. I just showed up in the 70s, and it was weird back then too.
Bell bottoms. Ugh.
I know, bell bottoms. Oh,
awful
for the Navy.
Ugh. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
Hysterical legacy media. The incoming administration is confident Trump's cabinet will get confirmed. Not only will Republicans have a 53-seat majority in the Senate, but the president-elect is also ready and willing to use another tool at his disposal. It is not the ideal way to do it, but if he has to, he will, like other presidents have. It's called recess appointments. And like everything else that Donald Trump does, this will send the left, the state-run legacy media mob, into a fit of hysteria. Here's some facts. Let's look at Reuters as the source, shall we? The U.S. Constitution says that a president can make recess appointments to fill vacant positions when the Senate is not in session. The Supreme Court ruled that a president can make those appointments once the Senate has been adjourned for at least 10 days. The first ever recess appointment, well, that was made by the first president himself, George Washington, during the very first congressional recess in 1790. More recently, Ronald Reagan made 240 recess appointments. President George H.W. Bush made 77 recess appointments, including as Secretary of State. Bill Clinton made 139 recess appointments. George W. Bush, 171. Barack Obama, 32. So this Thanksgiving, if you're sitting with your liberal relatives and they're not throwing turkey legs or mashed potatoes at you and they are freaking out, you can present them with these simple, basic, fundamental facts and truth. Presidents from both parties have made hundreds of recess appointments. It will not be unusual. It will not be unlawful for Donald Trump to do the same. So tonight, We can all feel very good about Donald Trump's incoming cabinet. They are about to clean house in the Washington swamp. There is, little that anyone on the radical extreme left can do about it. And of course, that won't stop them from screaming, yelling, and crying and trying. But their manufactured hysteria didn't work during the election. It's not going to work now. It's sort of like it all comes together. It's just one big 9-year period of, breathless Trump, Trump, Trump. And the American people rejected that overwhelmingly in the election. Woke cancel culture is now about to die. Americans are over it. They no longer listen to the media. They don't care what Hollywood celebrities have to say, which is great news. Oprah Winfrey, George Clooney could go back and focus on counting their money. Americans want the American dream restored for everybody else, with freedom and justice and prosperity and equal justice under the law, equal application of our laws for everybody, along with a border that is secure, streets that are safe, lower grocery prices, and lower gas prices.
Thoughts?
So, recess appointments. I appreciate the fact that he said that now you have this ammunition to tell your liberal relatives if they're even going to have you over for the holidays. Like, here's some facts, as if they're going to start listening to those now.
I know.
Maybe one day.
One day.
One day. But, if you feel like it, go ahead and, let them know that, that dog don't hunt. Because,
Right.
George Washington did it as the first president. So, not illegal.
Nope,
Yeah.
not at all. Ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
So let's check in on the congressional hearing from yesterday.
What's your profit margin, Ms. Kirkpatrick?
It's circa 50%.
Mr. Sheedy? Slightly higher.
Oh, well, what a start. We have Visa and MasterCard sitting before Congress. Now, MasterCard said their profit margin is circa 50%. And then Visa said a little bit better. If you want those exact numbers, Visa is making a 54% profit margin and MasterCard is making slightly less. But far be it for me to interrupt Senator Hawley.
To you, Mr. Callahan, is when you've got Walmart and other major competitors getting charged much less than you are, why in the world would you stick with these guys? Why is it that small businesses continue to use Visa and MasterCard when you're getting charged so much more?
It's in my opinion, it's a matter of convenience for the customer, and customers matter to our business.
Maybe is it because that Visa and MasterCard are effectively monopolies? They control 80% of the market.
Certainly part of
80% of the market.
And what he just said is 100% true. See, this whole hearing was about comparing what Visa and MasterCard are doing for these large corporations, the fees they're charging them or the fees they're not charging them, and then comparing it with small businesses. And for Hawley is Missouri, so we had Missouri people in there. But comparing what they're charging these small retailers just to process you swiping your card or tapping your phone or using Apple Pay. And what we found from this is that Visa and MasterCard are charging these small retailers almost double. So if you're wondering why shit got a little more expensive, other than the Biden unbelievably fucked economy, it's because Visa and MasterCard want to make 54% or 52% margin. They want to charge everyone. Oh, and how much money are they making?
The estimated cost to Missouri businesses from these fees is $1.5 billion. That's with a B, $1 billion a year. Why aren't all of these businesses running away from this model? Because they don't have a choice.
And that's the truth for every state. In just Missouri alone, MasterCard and Visa, just off of card processing fees, are making $1.5 billion a year. And that's one state. We multiply that out across every state, even if we're going to pretend that every state has the same retail presence that Missouri has, where we know states like New York, New Jersey, Florida, California, they have huge presence. But even if we were to act like everyone is just the same as Missouri, that is $75 billion with a B every single year just to Visa and MasterCard, all so that you have the convenience of being able to swipe your card. Do you think the American people would, I don't know, maybe have a better way of life with an additional $75 billion in their pocket? I think they would. And that's the beauty of the legislation of the CCCA, the Credit Card Competition Act. It would allow smaller processors to actually compete with Visa and MasterCard. Because here's what Visa and MasterCard are saying right now.
Unbelievable the amount of money that you're making. It's unbelievable what you're charging small businesses and consumers, and yet your testimony is, please, we can't possibly have any competition.
That's really what they testified to. That, oh my God, we couldn't possibly run our business with additional competition. We couldn't let these small credit card processors access our market. It would completely destroy everything we do while they make billions of dollars off of every single state in the country. I've said this before, but it needs to be said again. Call your fucking congressman and tell them to pass the CCCA. I don't give a fuck who's appointed to the cabinet. I don't give a fuck who gets confirmed. I don't give a fuck who's in the Senate or the House or the presidency. Whoever is in power needs to pass the goddamn CCCA because it benefits every person in the country. So I don't care if you're Democrat, I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're liberal, I don't care if you're conservative. Do you like having more money? Then call your congressman and tell him to pass the CCCA.
Thoughts?
Freaking credit cards in general is such a scam. Of course, if we had a healthy money supply and it wasn't frowned upon by using, cold hard cash, we wouldn't have to be held by the short and curlies by the major banking corporations. I don't know how this is going to look in the end. I don't know if they're going to have the same amount of power that they used to have. It sure would be nice if we had something that happened, before the banking cartels took over after Jekyll Island, but something that looks more like what they were showing us in It's a Wonderful Life. You know, those small savings and loan operations where they happen to know people and, the people that live around there, and it's kind of a homespun thing, and they know what you do for a living, and they know that you're a decent person, and it's not held by some score done by some organization that doesn't know absolutely anything about you whatsoever, other than to say that we have chosen that these people shall not have a chance to buy anything without paying exorbitant rates. Yeah, they've been screwing people over for a long time. I think the entire credit industry should be completely shut down because, well, again, just like the government, they've shown that they're untrustworthy and that they only screw people over to benefit themselves. So, yeah, suck it, bankers. Don't like you. Hope you lose your job, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Colleen says they charge 4% to use a credit card. Yeah. Why should we play their game? Why should we care about credit cards?
Exactly.
It's people have gotten into that trap, and they drove us further into this trap to get us to the point where we have to use credit cards to pay our bills. It's like a check cashing place anymore. And that's what they've turned themselves into, is a corrupt loan shark kind of organization because they don't like you. And really for no other reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Estos
May the banking system go down. Used to be called usury, didn't it, Santino? Yes, Esto. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what the Bible calls it. Usury. Yeah, if we were only a Christian nation. But then again, that explains why they don't want, biblical principles running our country. The reason why it was designed this way. Because we didn't trust banks.
Exactly.
Aaron says, Colleen, my business cost me about the amount of debt currently in credit card processing fees to accept payment. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? They make it so that way you can't even afford to run a business.
Exactly.
It's almost like they're picking winners and losers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
We got Doxy. Let's listen.
Love Doxy.
Hi, friends. Doxy here. So TikTok just removed the most recent post that I made asking for assistance in Western North Carolina. So I just thought I'd make a post like this because tonight is our first night that we're expecting snow in Western North Carolina since Hurricane Helene. And there are several families that are still living in tents. So a lot of locals have gotten together, and there's one particular person who has come up with Operation Shelter. So I wanted to let everyone know that you can go and search Operation Shelter on TikTok. You can search it on X. You can search it on Instagram. And you will have access to contact a guy named Sean who is heading this up. His name is Sean Hendricks. He's got Operation Shelter going. We're looking for people who have RVs or tents that they could possibly donate. He has someone that can come pick them up. You could get a tax write-off for this donation possibly, but it's really important if we can get the word out to everyone. Again, that's Operation Shelter. His name is Sean Hendricks. We're looking for help in Western North Carolina, and I have no idea why TikTok does not want that information to get out, but it's very important because there are people sleeping in tents, and it's freezing cold, and we are expecting snow the next couple of days. So please share this. Talk to friends and family. Share it on other platforms if you can, and let's get the word out for Operation Shelter. Thank you.
All right. Thoughts?
All right. So I'm going to share this right here. Sean Hendricks on X. At the Sean Hendricks is what his name, got the check mark. And this is his most recent post. FEMA denied aid due to no proof of citizenship. She was born in Asheville. Another heartbreaking story of a mother and 10-year-old autistic child on the brink of having to sleep in their car due to no options for shelter. Also, FEMA denied based on not having enough proof that she is a citizen. Boy, that's rich. She sent the birth certificate and driver's license to them. What's going on? Yeah, what is going on? See, the thing is a lot of these, she had to do that video because it was being shut down before. So that's why she did that. And it's actually, you don't really get to hear Doxy very much because she always does the dance and everything. Doxy's amazing. But anyways, so it was nice to hear her voice. And she was without contact with Facebook, TikTok for the longest time, at least a week, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, so she's been trying to get the word out about what's going on out there and around her neck of the woods. And this is, what is being presented. It's absolutely disgusting. And then Mike says, and I'm sure it plays along here, this is this while we have illegals living free in hotels.
Amen.
Yeah. Fancy, isn't it? Yeah, and these people can't get help after clearly, they had their house destroyed in a natural disaster, and what they don't deserve a place to live. It's a mother and a child.
This angers me.
Oh, it angers me
That's
tremendously.
why I'm being quiet.
Yeah, I know. There's not much to say. I think you get the point. And then let me put that link up for his page.
Yes, please do.
And let's see. 1 second. I got to subscribe.
Okay.
Oh, geez. It's $5 a month. Okay.
Can you just share it?
Yeah, I'll just share it here. I'll get to it. Anyways.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
What is a warrior of God? In Ephesians 6:10, topper 18, the Bible describes the armor of God, painting a powerful picture of what it means to be a warrior in his kingdom. But what does that really look like in our lives today? A warrior of God isn't just about physical strength or battle skills. It's about having a heart full of courage and faith. It's someone who stands firm in their beliefs, who fights for justice, love, and truth, even when the world tries to knock them down. Think about it. Putting on the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, and the shield of faith isn't just metaphorical. It means living with integrity, standing up for what's right, and trusting God no matter what challenges come your way. Imagine facing life's battles with the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, and the helmet of salvation, protecting your mind and heart. It's about praying in the Spirit on all occasions, staying alert, and always keeping the faith. Being a warrior of God means you're not alone in your struggles. God is with you, equipping you with everything you need to overcome any obstacle. It's about having the strength to persevere, the wisdom to know right from wrong, and the love to conquer hate. So are you ready to be a warrior of God? Stand firm, suit up in your spiritual armor, and let your faith lead the way. If this message fired you up,
Thoughts?
Stand strong and lead the way. It's not going to look like wearing a suit of armor. You're not going to look like a Knight Templar. It's not how it works. I know. Sad. Sad Hulk. Hulk's sad. But at the same time, really, it requires that strength and perseverance. We got to drive through. You know what you need to do. Just make sure you're doing it. Got to persevere through the trials and challenges in life. Obviously, tonight's theme is about trials and challenges. So it's really something that we should probably be focusing on. You know, our trials and difficulties and all of it isn't over yet. We still have a ways to go. But finding that strength with God and knowing that he's going to help us persevere should give us everything that we need to know that we have to continue on with our own personal struggles, our own personal fight, our own personal journey. Follow that path and find out where it leads.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Fight the good fight.
Can you read that, please?
Okay. White girl contemplates white supremacy while making cupcakes.
Ready?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now riddle me this. You live under white supremacy, but somehow white people are only 9% of the global population, yet within all of our ancestral homelands, we have mass unregulated immigration, news and entertainment media that demonize us 24/7, along with academic institutions and governments that clearly hate us as well. We also now have countries full of people that either A, insist we have no culture, or B, insist that we have our culture flown in since we don't have enough. And we need to use the people with no culture's money, by the way. They need to fund all of this. And what do you know? This is not only happening to only Western countries that are majority people of European descent, but it is happening to every single one. We all need more multiculturalism, and no other countries do. And because we live under white supremacy, the US, which was 90% people of European descent for hundreds of years, has gone down to 57% today. Not only that, but a mainstream talking point is abolishing whiteness. So basically, we brought in a bunch of people that think that all the racial tension can't be solved until white people are just eliminated. That's how we fix it. Not they go back to their own homelands if they don't like being around white people. No, it's our fault. Truly is some white privilege to have your population's declining birth rates not only tracked, but celebrated by special interest groups and individuals. We need to make sure we're protecting ourselves against white supremacy because white people having power in majority white countries is the biggest threat to democracy ever. We need less representation in majority white countries of white people. Because white people gave non-white people citizenship, and as a thank you, the first thing they did was remove white people from their own institutions. They then designated us as a cultural evil and redirected our resources towards their own in-group. No one demands Peruvians, Nigerians, Arabs, or Koreans to forcefully open up their borders and coexist with everyone. Also, feel free to let me know which other countries allow dual citizens to control their treasury, borders, health standards, things of that nature. I don't know. I just think some might call a country that's run by foreigners on behalf of foreign interests that is also very clearly hostile to the native population. Some might call that an occupied country. And just to state the obvious, your government should not turn on you in favor of foreigners. This quite literally would have caused a massive government overhaul in quite literally any other time period. But hey, since we normalized it, I guess there's really nothing wrong with us being completely cut.
Thoughts?
Maybe it's because I don't watch the mainstream media that I don't hear that very often. Because it's not like I hear people talking about eradicating any race. And that doesn't, and then that's from hearing from any race. I don't hear about people talking about eradicating.
That's what they're saying on
Yeah,
mainstream.
and I understand. Maybe that's where it comes from, and I understand that a lot of those Ivy League schools really promote a lot of that. You know, how whites are evil, whatever. You know, lay off the pizza. Don't eat pizza ever again. You know, it's kind of like, why are we playing this game? Why is anybody playing this game? It's more of the same old race baiting. It doesn't mean anything to so many people, and that's another one of the things that they absolutely couldn't stand about President Trump and the MAGA movement, because it was for everybody. And that includes the gays and the lesbians and, you know, all of, you know, pretty much a lot of the alphabet soup LGBT stuff, right? It's not about that. It's about whether or not you care about the values of this nation being one where we can all get along. Rodney King kind of had it right. Can't we all get along? Well, we could if the very people that were, causing all of these problems weren't really in the positions of power. And that's what she was really getting at is the people who are in the positions of power are the ones that push this narrative, even though just like Adolf Hitler, wanted to get rid of people that weren't Germans, blonde hair, blue eyes, yet he didn't have blonde hair or blue eyes, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. So yeah, liberals, they're a strange lot, aren't they? They really can't see how dumb they are. But that's what they keep telling us. I don't know. I don't think we're going to hear about it for a whole lot longer.
I know.
I think that those days are numbered.
Exactly.
Because we're actually going to get to the fact that people are going to, be judged by the content of their character as opposed to the color of their skin.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right. Hi. Welcome to the 2024-2025 WW Trace Draft. All right. When I say your name, please step forward. Okay? All right. Karen don't need a man. Karen don't need a man. Ah, there you are. All right. Karen, why are you crying? Why are you crying, Karen? You don't want to do this. Karen, you just posted 2 days ago that you were ready, and I quote, feral. You were ready to be feral. So now we don't feel that way? Karen, get back in line. Get back in line. Next person. Linda Blue Hair. Linda Blue. Linda, where is your hair? You shaved it off. You didn't think this was going to happen? Well, newsflash for you, it's happening, sister. So, it's cold over in Russia, right? All right, well, my suggestion to you would be to go get you a beanie and cover up that cue ball, sister, because you're going to be frigid.
Thoughts?
Yeah. All right. First things first, with all the missiles being lobbed and everything, and Putin, kind of throwing one of his toys out there that shows that the Iron Dome is absolutely worthless. That's an interesting turn of events. And it looks like they're trying to bring us to the brink, if not actual World War III. And I think that might be one of the major scare events that we have coming up here soon. Because really, if there's a war, they might be able to try to say, oh, no, we have to declare martial law and you all have to go to war now. We decided to throw a war and decided that all you have to play. And I think that a scare event like that would most certainly we would see some scenarios like this, and it would certainly wake a lot of people up, especially if they start the draft. And yeah, the government also made it so that way they could draft women too. So yeah, all those blue hairs and whatnot, they're going.
Karen don't need no man.
Yeah, and Karen who don't need no man. Yeah, good luck, because you're not going to have any of that in the future, because you might not be around, because you wanted the people to start World War III, so that way, Orange Man wouldn't, make our gas prices go down.
I know.
Wah.
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 You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Dana White on never going to doctors anymore.
Ready?
That should be interesting. Yes.
Dana White weighed in on the matters that are going on in our country. Check this out.
I will never go to a doctor ever again about my general health. They have no clue what they're talking about, and all they want to do is put you on pills. I had the best doctors that you could get from the best hospitals that you could go to. None of them could stop snoring. None of them could get my blood pressure under control. None of them could get my cholesterol, good and bad, leveled out. It's all good now. The medicines are just going to start to stack up. And before you know it, you're going to be on 14 pills with 10 different side effects from each one of them. You're not living the healthy, amazing life that you can. I'm not kidding you. Like he said, I jump out of bed every day ready to kick today's ass.
And I happen to agree with him fully. It's quite interesting that when we talk about what physicians are able to do, one thing that we know they can't really do is make us healthy. And I've kind of stopped going to doctors entirely too. I just try to eat healthier and do my own thing. Like, what's the point of feeling guilty every day about not being in good health when the doctors themselves cannot help you get into better shape?
Thoughts?
We got so used to taking pills for everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. People have just gotten used to it. It's something that's been sold to us in so many different ways. But I remember once upon a time, it was like common knowledge that if you had 12 pills, I think it was 12. I think that it was, if you have 12 pills, there is a 100% chance that one pill is going to counteract another pill. And I know that there's lots and lots of people out there who have significantly more than that. That is a problem. And I understand where he's coming from, because people just aren't having that faith and confidence that they used to have in the medical industry, because it sure has seemed to be, profit in a box. And that it's not about they're spending time getting to know who you are. Doctors used to make house calls, and they used to care about the people that they cared for, because that was their job as doctors, to care for. And they kind of lost that in the process somewhere. This is part of that great awakening. And I think that we're going to hear more and more of that. It's gonna be a rough go for doctors for quite some time, especially after RFK gets in there and starts cleaning up our healthcare system. A lot of doctors are going to have to eat a lot of crow and actually start doing some real medicine, unlike what they've had to do before. They can't just, there's a pill is not a cure for, doesn't look like much anything. So start doing the curing, and they're going to have to start to learn how to do real medicine. It's going to be ugly for a little bit, but I think that reckoning that they have coming, that doctor bubble, since the news loves to talk about all these bubbles that are going to burst. Yeah, that doctor bubble is going to burst, and maybe we'll get some real medicine after that one's done.
Mm-hmm.
Colleen says, yes, the doctor tell us to lose weight, and they are 50 pounds overweight. Yeah, I know. That's always funny. And practice what you preach, doc.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
They say the definition of hell is meeting the person you were meant to be. Picture this. At the end of your life, you stand before a version of yourself who embraced every challenge, shattered every limit, and lived without fear. A version who refused to settle for mediocrity. That moment could be the greatest reunion of your soul, or the deepest regret of your existence. Every day, the universe gives you a choice. You can let fear hold you back, or you can take a step toward your true potential. Remember, once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. This journey isn't for the faint of heart, but you aren't faint of heart. The question isn't if you'll meet that version of yourself. The question is, will they recognize you? So, the time is now. Who will you become?
So, who will you become? Look at all the challenges we've gone through, and look at how we have made it through together. So don't ever give up. And the only thing you really need to worry about is, will they recognize you? And will you care? Like Les Brown says, you have someone they haven't seen in a long time, and they walk up to you and say, "You're nothing like I remember." That's good. That means you've grown and you've beat every challenge. So we know that we're going to get through this, and it's going to be amazing, because like Santino said earlier, Trump's not playing checkers. He's playing chess, and we got this. Seasoning?
Not a whole lot. Do not fear. It says it 365 times in the Bible. If you have no reason to fear, and you know that he has a plan for you, then what is there to fear other than not following through and doing what you know is right? Make sure you do everything that you know you should be doing, folks. It's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful time to be alive, and this awakening is going to be gorgeous. Make sure that you're a part of it.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you all for joining us. We'll see y'all again tomorrow. See y'all again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Got it this time.
There you go.
There we go. Anyways, see y'all tomorrow on those at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Anyways, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Bill.net.
And if you haven't already, please give us that virtual hug. There's like 64 people watching and only like 20 likes. Come on, guys. It's free. It's easy. Just click the little button.
Costs
If
nothing.
you costs you nothing, but it helps us tremendously. So if you're on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Ow, that hurt my hand.
Be careful.
If you're on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook,
Click the buttons.
click the buttons. I love you guys so much.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe and God bless.